Hi again, everybody. We're moving on into part 8 now. As always, if you're watching this video first, you should probably go back and check out the other ones. It'll probably make things make a little bit more sense to you. And I'd just like to thank everybody again for continuing to watch as I'm continuing to read. So, let's just move on. Things had begun to settle a little. Alan stood in the kitchen brewing a pot of coffee, listening to the two talk out their options. It all seemed so hopeless to him, not because finding a lost boy is impossible, but because he knew in his heart that Mark Anthony was a true lost boy. He knew this because at one time, so was he. Talking to them about it seemed a poor idea given the circumstances, but what choice did he have? If he wanted help, truly help, then they'd have to know that the world was only a veil for what lies beneath the surface. Darkness was everywhere, scraping along till it found something to latch onto. But that still begged the question, why Mark Anthony, and why now? He poured Joanna and himself a cup and went to the table. "Sorry, I didn't know how you took it," he said to John. It's okay." John went to the cupboard and got a cup. "I'm just having a hard time understanding," Joanna said. "You said you went out the door right after him?" "Yeah, it hadn't even closed yet." He had left out the part about time's uneasy slowness as he did, partly because he didn't really believe it had happened himself. Just some trick of the brain in a high-stress situation and nothing more. "You think he's on the property somewhere? Hiding, maybe?" she said. John gave her a look of contempt. "I looked it over high and low, even in the damn roof. And that happened yesterday. He would have come inside by then if he were still here. He's not a stupid kid." "Like you'd know," Joanna almost spat, then felt her face go soft and she looked at her hands. "I'm sorry, John." He took a drink from his cup. Alan felt his foot doing the nervous tap dance. "John, can I ask you something?" John's eyebrows went up like he had forgotten Alan was there. "What's that?" "This might sound strange, but did you smell anything weird when he disappeared? Something like a sewage drain?" Both of them looked at Alan in confusion. No, I don't think so. I mean, it happened so fast, but I feel like I'd remember something like that. I mean, why?" That was exactly what Alan had wanted to avoid. Questions that were hard to answer. He straightened himself, smoothing his shirt. "I'm going to say some things. It's going to sound crazy. It is crazy, but..." He cleared his throat. "It's the only way we can help." The two of them looked on in increasing interest. "Hal, what are you talking about?" Joanna asked. He looked at her, pain all over his face. "Joanna, you remember how I said I got this scar? Sure, you fell out of a tree when you were a kid and landed on a fence. But what does that have to do with this?" He held up a hand. I know, but Joanna, that was a lie. I never had a yard big enough for a tree, let alone a fence. I lived in trailers most of my life." "What the fuck are you going on about?" John said, annoyed. "My goddamn grandson is missing, and you think it's a nice time to, reminisce?" "I know you don't like me, John." John made a t sound at this, but allowed Alan to continue. "I promise I understand the gravity of what's happening," he said. Now that Alan had the floor, he realized that he had no idea where to start. So he took a cue from the writer in the room and started from the beginning. It was summer, and the hotel had a hot breeze drifting through the rooms. Alan knocked on the door. "Housekeeping," he said before swiping the key card and walking inside. The day was just like any other, a little easier even, so he worked at a slow pace. It was one of his last rooms that he noticed something strange at the front of the door. He picked it up and found it was some sort of coin. He rolled his thumbs over the strange engravings, then slipped it into his pocket, meaning to put it in the lost and found at the end of the day. Of course, that wouldn't happen. Life, as it would, intervened. He went through the motions. Knock, present self, wait for response. If there wasn't one, enter, deep clean, repeat. This room, however, was a catastrophe. The walls had marker trails all over them. The bed was stained a deep maroon, and a smell so foul it wafted into the parking lot screamed up at him. With one arm covering his face, he went to the fridge, hoping to remove the source of the stench. But when he swung the door open, what he saw knocked him back, sucking the wind from him. Inside the fridge was a girl's head, the eyes gone, leaving twin black holes in their stead. Alan threw up and screamed louder than he ever had in his life at the soulless eyes staring him down. Less than an hour later, he was giving a report to the local police. He told them exactly what happened, save for the finding of the coin. In truth, he had forgotten all about it in light of the situation. It wasn't until he made it home when he felt it in his pocket. I don't know what the coin was or the girl. What I do know was something evil was attached to it, and from the moment I touched it, it became attached to me. Joanna shook her head, trying to grasp the story with little success. So what happened? She asked. Alan sighed. There's really only one way of putting it. I was possessed. Even today, I can't really remember it all. It was all so far away to me, like I was seeing it through a spyglass. John gnawed his thumbnail. Okay, let's say I believe you. So, how'd you get better? 'Cause from where I'm sitting, you look fine. Better than fine. The story had the three of them so distracted that they didn't even notice the strange man enter and start to pour himself a coffee. So when he said, "That would be because of me," they all turned with a start. And that's going to be all for right now. Thank you as always for listening. It's always my pleasure to be reading. And I hope you guys have a good weekend and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.